Namaskar. Hello. I am Storyteller Jaishree Sethi from StoryGhar, New Delhi. Big thank you to Katha by Shraddha that she gave me this opportunity to tell you all a story. So the story that I have got for you today is titled The Five Chinese Brothers, written by Claire Huchet Bishop and illustrated by Claire Huchet. So let us begin. So how does a story begin? Yes, you guessed it right. Once upon a time, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chinese brothers, and they looked exactly alike. They lived with their mother in a small house that was not far from the sea. The first Chinese brother could swallow the sea. The second Chinese brother had an iron neck. The third Chinese brother could stretch and stretch and stretch his legs. And the fourth Chinese brother, he could not be burned. That means his skin, his body was fireproof. And the fifth Chinese brother could hold his breath indefinitely. That means though all of them looked alike, but they all had distinct qualities that made them different. Every morning, the first Chinese brother would go fishing, and whatever the weather, he would come back to the village with beautiful and rare fish which he had caught, and he could sell at the market for a very good price. One day, as he was leaving the marketplace, a little boy stopped him and asked him, can I come with you when you go fishing tomorrow?
No, it cannot be done.
The first Chinese brother refused. But the little boy begged and begged, please, please, please take me along. I'll not trouble you. Finally, the first Chinese brother agreed. And he said,
Under one condition, and that is that you shall obey me promptly.
Yes, I can do that. The little boy promised. Early next morning, the first Chinese brother and the little boy went down to the beach. The first Chinese brother said,
Remember, you must obey me promptly. When I make a sign for you to come back, you must come at once.
Yes. The little boy promised. Then the first Chinese brother, you know what he did? He swallowed the sea. The sea went inside his mouth, and all the fish were left high and dry at the bottom of the sea, and all the treasures of the sea lay uncovered. The little boy was delighted. He ran here and there, stuffing his pockets with strange pebbles and shells. Near the shore, the first Chinese brother gathered some fish, as he would always do, while he kept holding the sea in his mouth. Now, he grew tired. You see, it is very hard to hold the sea in your mouth. So he made a sign with his hand for the little boy to come back. The little boy saw him, but paid no attention. The first Chinese brother then made big, great movements with his arms. That meant, come back. But did the little boy care? Not a bit. And he ran further away. Then the first Chinese brother felt the sea swelling inside him, and he made desperate gestures to call the little boy back. But the little boy made faces at him and fled as fast as he could. The first Chinese brother held the sea until he thought he was going to burst. All of a sudden, the sea forced its way out of his mouth and went back to the ground. And the little boy drowned, disappeared. First Chinese brother couldn't do anything. When he returned to the village alone, and that little boy was not to be seen around, everybody questioned him. He had no answer. Result, he was arrested, put in prison, and an order was passed that his head will be cut off. So on the morning of the execution, he said to the judge, he actually pleaded,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
The judge looked at him top to bottom and said, it's only fair. So the first Chinese brother went home and the second Chinese brother came back in his place. All the people were assembled on the village square to witness the execution. The executioner took his sword and struck a mighty blow. But the second Chinese brother got up and smiled. Actually, he was the one with the iron neck, and they simply could not cut his head off. What do you think everybody did? They were angry. Then they decided that he should be drowned. So on the morning of the execution, the second Chinese brother said to the judge,
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
The judge said again, it's only fair. So the second Chinese brother went home and the third Chinese brother came back in his place. And he had a special quality. Yes, he could stretch his legs. So he was pushed on a boat which made for the open sea. When they were far out on the ocean, the third Chinese brother was thrown overboard. But he began to stretch his legs way down to the bottom of the sea. And all the time, his smiling face was bobbing up and down on the crest of the waves. He simply could not be drowned. Now everybody was angry. And they all decided that he should be burned. That is the only way. So on the morning of the execution, the third Chinese brother said to the judge, what did he say? Yes!
Your Honor, will you allow me to go and bid my mother goodbye?
And what did the judge say? It's only fair. So the third Chinese brother went home and the fourth Chinese brother came back in his place. And he was tied up to a stake. Fire was set to it and all the people stood around watching it. In the midst of all the flames, they heard him say,
This is quite pleasant.
Now imagine a person is being burnt alive and he's saying,
it's quite pleasant.
So what did people cry? They say, bring some more wood. The fire roared higher. Now, what did the fourth Chinese brother say?
It's quite comfortable.
For he was the one who could not be burned. He was fireproof. Now everybody was getting more and more angry every minute. They all decided to smother him. How? They decided that they would put him in a chest, lock it from outside. He would not be able to come out and he will be breathless inside and die. Before they could do that, fourth Chinese brother said to the judge,
Will you allow me to go home and bid my mother goodbye?
And judge said, it's only fair. So next day, fifth Chinese brother came in his place and he was the one who could hold his breath indefinitely. So what did the people do? They put him in a chest, locked it and waited for the whole night. In the morning, they unlocked the box, lifted the lid and they saw the fifth Chinese brother pushing himself out. He shook himself and said,
that was a good sleep.
Everybody stared open-mouthed and they couldn't believe their eyes. But then the judge stepped forward and said, we have tried to get rid of you in every possible way and somehow it cannot be done. It must be that you are innocent. Yes, 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 shouted all the people. So they let him go and he went home. And now the five Chinese brothers and their mother all lived happily for many, many years. So, with this, my story comes to an end. Hope you liked it. If yes, do like the video, and if you want to hear such stories more often, you can subscribe to my channel, which is StoryGhar. Once again, big thank you to Katha by Shraddha. Hope we meet again soon. Till then, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.